So hey guys, how are you all? Welcome to. So we are back with a brand new movie on what if Naruto and Yugao had returned after 20 years in Konoha movie, but before we start, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's begin the story. Namikaze Minato let only a few small tears fall from his face as he looked at the battle that was ahead. A battle he was going to, at the cost of his life. Minato plays a young blonde boy who was nearly a copy of himself inside a shack and immediately disappeared in a yellow flash. The Kyuubi no Yoko, the strongest of the Biju, destroyed the terrain underneath its body with a single swing from its tails. A huge puff of smoke caught its attention and there stood the Toad boss, Gamabunta. On top of the Toad's head stood a man in a Junin outfit, with a white cape blowing in the wind. Shiki Fujin. Minato whispered. His newest jutsu, a jutsu that is a double-edged sword. The Kyuubi no Yoko charge, moving headfirst towards. Minato looked behind as he felt everything just drop 100 degrees. Behind him stood the dealer of death, Shinigami. Unfortunately, the Kyuubi also was aware of Shinigami. Fujin. Minato cried as he sealed the Kyuubi no Yoko into the small boy. The Kyuubi no Yoko cried and threshed about, but dropped to the ground defeated. Interesting, this child holds much promise for the near future. A balance holder, hey. Yandeomi Hokage, you would be amazed what I will do for the boy. The Shinigami's eyes flashed red for a bit before he disappeared. The Sandaime Hokage picked up the baby boy. Kushina was dead beside her child. Why the two of them agreed to such a jutsu, he would never know. He could only feel pity for the child who was left alone in the world. This jutsu, Minato used was a double sacrifice jutsu. In order to seal it into a newborn from a far distance he needed another body to direct it into the child. Kushina, why did you sacrifice yourself as well for a child who needs you? Many ninjas would have been more than happy to take your place. The Sandaime Hokage, however, already knew the answer. It was because she was young and more powerful than many Junins in the village. She was also at a cage level, much like Sarutobi she was the only one capable of handling the jutsu transformation. The Sandaime Hokage knew, it was unlikely the Yandaime's wish among the villagers would be respected. 4 years later a small boy ran as far away as he could. Behind him a mob had gathered. They soon started to beat him to a bloody pulp, making sure today was going to be the day. What is going on here? Several voices yelled. The crowd noticed several foreign Anbu-s drawing their katanas at them. The ninjas only took 2 steps forward when the crowd screamed and ran for their lives. They Anbu stop and look at the place where the mob was gathered. They notice a small boy with blonde hair. However, he was bleeding very badly and it looked like he wouldn't survive much longer. Is it over? A voice drawled out from the curtains. Hi, Hanzo-sama. Then what is taking so long? A boy. Bring him to me. Hanzo-sama, don't make me repeat myself. The Anbu bowed and picked up the boy. They brought him towards Hanzo. Hanzo pulled the curtains aside and stepped outside. All of the Anbu bowed before their leader. Hanzo gave one look at boy and noticed the blood and dangerous condition he was in. Only a child. A mob gathered around just to kill a small child. He looks no older than 4. Sarutobi, you and I are going to have a long talk. Bring him with us. I want some answers from the Sandaime Hokage. Hi. They answered. The Sandaime Hokage was lucky, he finished the last of his paperwork and started to wonder when Hanzo was going to get here. He worried if Hanzo was going to accept Iwa's offer. It was no fool. Salamander Hanzo was too powerful, his Anbu squad was in a league of its own compared to the other nations. He looked out the windows and noticed there was no shinobi in sight. It was early, so he shouldn't be surprised. A knock on the door brought him out of his thoughts and a Chunin entered. Hokage-sama, Hanzo-sama has arrived. Let him in. The Sandaime replied. The Chunin didn't move. What is it? He has with him, the child, the Chunin replied. Oh no, I better prepare for my grave. The Sandaime muttered. However, before anyone could say anything, a conversation entered their ears. I'm sorry, but Hokage-sama is currently busy. Please be patient, he will see you shortly. Hanzo-sama is running out of patience. You will allow us entrance. A man barked back. I'm afraid I cannot let you enter without the permission of the Hokage, the woman replied. Hanzo-sama was kind enough to make a trip all the way to see your Hokage. Now step aside and let us through. I'm afraid I can't let that thing near the Hokage. He isn't even welcome near here, the secretary responded. Why you little bitch? I'll show you manners, the man shouted. The Hokage rushed out to see Anbu reaching for his sword. One of his fellow Anbu had a bloody beaten Naruto in his hands. That's enough. The third shouted. Everyone look at him. I told you when the Hanzo arrived you were to let them in right away. Why did you deny them access? The Hokage demoned. Hokage-sama, they wanted to bring. She gave a cold glare at the poor boy, the thing inside. I tried to tell them to throw him back outside, however they wouldn't listen. Sarutobi was really sweating. Hanzo was going to kill him. Not even he, the professor of the Sannin, could possibly survive against a fight against Hanzo. Let him in. Hokage-sama. The woman yelled. Believe me, if Konoha wants to stand, we best not to anger Hanzo. The Hokage replied, grabbing his hat. The woman only nodded, and the Anbu pulled out his sword and made her step back towards the wall. A few moments later, a man wearing heaving armor with a breathing mask walked past her, not once glancing towards her. She trembled at the amount of charka he had. Even if she was only a chunin, she could feel the amount of charka, and it was far stronger than anything she ever felt. She suddenly felt terrified at the idea of angering a man who could kill the Hokage. She prayed to Kami that all went well. The Hokage led Hanzo towards his office and sat down behind his desk. Before we begin, mind telling me why a group of villagers formed a mob and attacked a defenseless boy? Is that your idea of being the most powerful in this village because of these actions? I see you meet Naruto. I'm sorry, many people have wanted to kill him since 4 years ago. Hanzo said nothing. He merely glared at the Hokage as if daring him to talk. Very well, how about a little help? Hanzo replied. The Hokage looked at Hanzo with a curious question look on his face. I'll take the boy with and keep him for 6 years. Hanzo replied, glaring at the Hokage as if daring him to challenge him. Very well, this will calm things down and Naruto can grow up without being afraid. Hanzo glared at the Hokage before leaving. He stops at the door as his Anbu opened the door for him. As for your request for an alliance, I decline. I'm sure you're fully aware, but if Omegakure sides with any of the 5 great shinobi nations, we would be pulled into a countless war. That is why I will not side with no one, he replied. Why did you come then? I thought you wouldn't have wasted your time because of that, Sarutobi replied. Because the other nations would have kept bothering me if I didn't make the point in person. The Hokage nodded. Hanzo walked with the blonde in his arms and walked out of the village, his Anbu behind him. Hanzo-sama, are you sure it's wise to talk a boy into our village? The captain asked. He holds no threat. Besides, I think I found myself a new apprentice, Hanzo replied. It was a 2-day trip to Omegakure. To make sure nothing got suspicious, Hanzo had the boy sleep until he was in the village. Hanzo stood in front of the Rain Council. Hanzo, what is the meaning of this? Bringing a foreign child here and to train him of our shinobi ways? An old council member demanded. It's simple. There is something I must do, not because as my duty as a leader of Omegakure, but as a shinobi. We shinobis, when our skills are at our max, seek an apprentice to carry on our dreams and hopes. I have found an apprentice. Already he is young, but he has unlocked his charka and it is tremendous. I believe this boy can carry on my will. Oracle-sama, is this vision you had about me, about the boy who can change the world? There is no need to question Hanzo-sama's judgment. We shall train the boy. However, we know you well enough not to give us a full answer right away. We will allow training for the boy. However, we will expect a full reason on why we should allow a boy train from not our village here. My reasons are a bit rash, but you will understand one day. If this boy is our last hope, then I fear we must act quickly. This pain already calls himself a god. I can only hope this boy can defeat him. Even I have my doubts about defeating him. 2 days later, Naruto woke up in a bed and looked around. This wasn't Konoha, but he knew he was in a hospital. There was much green around the room. Oh, you're awake. A woman's voice replied. She was wearing light chunin clothing and had a small gown. What surprised Naruto was the forehead protector on her head. He had never seen it before. Go get Hanzo-sama, she ordered. Naruto looked towards the door and noticed 2 Anbu standing guard. They nodded and disappeared in smoke. She grabs the clipboard and looks at his charts. Another puff of smoke appeared, and this time the Anbu were accompanied by a tall man wearing a strange mask. Naruto-kun, you woke up much earlier than I expected. Come with me. Naruto got up and slowly followed the strange man. The man said nothing but led Naruto into a small clearing. Okay Naruto, I'm Salamander Hanzo. I'll be your ninja sensei for the next 6 years. Be ready, because you're about to go through hell. I'm going to be a ninja. Yeah, I rule. Naruto screamed, jumping up and down. Enough! Hanzo roared. Naruto stopped cheering and looked at the towering man before him. A shinobi does not celebrate, does not cheer. A shinobi is quiet and attacks his enemy without mercy. First lesson, you must learn how to draw out charka, Hanzo replied. 3 days later, amazing. He already has mastered not only the basic form of charka control, yet he grows more incredible with each passing day. Naruto, today I'm going to teach you ninjutsu, Hanzo replied. Naruto stood in front of Hanzo giving him his full attention. First tell me, do you know anything about ninjutsu? Only it is used to execute a ninja technique, Naruto replied. That is true. There are 6 types of ninjutsu: fire, earth, water, lighting, and wind. The 6th type is chakra. Each element has its uses and weakness. Can you tell me what techniques are stronger than the other? Fire is weak against water. Water is most likely weak against earth. Earth is no doubt weak against lighting, however, that means lighting is weak against wind as wind is weak against fire. Correct. This boy is a genius, no doubt about that. However, he works hard to achieve his results. To understand these jutsus you must learn the hand seals. Earth hand seals are set for a reason. For example, Kaiden jutsus are tiger seals. Doden jutsus are monkey seals. Each jutsu has its strength and weakness. To discover them, you must learn them and how to their use. I'm ready, Hanzo-sensei. Get ready for some intense training. 6 years later Hanzo stood proud before his student who was ready to depart back to Konoha. These 6 long years proved to be worth it. Everyone in Megacure loved Naruto. He not only proved to be strong but wise as well. In all his spars and submissions, missions he took even though he is not a ninja, he has never lost. Hanzo and the council were proud of the young boy. I'm off, sensei. Naruto replied. Naruto, don't ever forget who you are. No matter what, Hanzo replied. Hi, sensei. Naruto waved. Naruto walked into the trees and soon he was gone. 6 long years, I never thought the day would come. It saddens me to see that young man go. A council member replied calmly. It saddens us all. Another replied. Hanzo said nothing but turned to his council members. I think it is time for you all to know the truth about why I brought him here, Hanzo replied. He motioned all of his senseis and the council members to walk forward. A Megacure council chamber. Hanzo, you said you would tell us the truth. I cannot believe we have forgotten about this day for so long. You've grown attached to him, Hanzo replied calmly. Hanzo, what are your reasons? It had to do with a prophecy that an oracle gave to me when I was just a boy. Flashback: a young boy stood in front of the Shoden cage. Is there a rain cage? He had been training all day and was standing before his sensei, waiting to be dismissed. You've done well, Hanzo, now go, and be ready for tomorrow's missions. His sensei replied, turning around and leaving. Hi, sensei. Hanzo walked into the bamboo forest who stopped to see a young strange girl by a waterfall. Who are you? Hanzo orders. The girl said nothing but looks at Hanzo and smiled. Who are you? Hanzo repeated. He took a defensive stance. Salamander Hanzo, the greatest shinobi born of his generation. Salamander? Who are you talking about? Hanzo orders. I have come to tell you about your future, Salamander Hanzo. Hanzo didn't move but listened closely. During the Second Great Shinobi War, you will encounter 3 young shinobis who come from the Trees of Leaf. You will fight them and spare their lives for their bravery. The names you give them will become legendary. Years later, close during the fall of the Megacure, you will encounter another young boy from the Tree of Leaf and take him as your apprentice, giving him a title to match his greatest opponent who shall destroy the rain. With saying that, the strange young girl vanishes. Flashback ends. This is a joke, Hanzo-sama. You're telling me a girl told you this would happen? Wait, it makes sense. Think about it. 3 young shinobis that come from the Trees of Leaf. This is no doubt the Senji clan who helped create the Leaf Village. These shinobis would gain legendary status. The 3 legendary Sannin of Konoha. If what the oracle said is true, then during the time where a Megacure will fall, another boy from the Hidden Leaf will become Hanzo's apprentice. Uzumaki Naruto. Correct. As you've all heard, there is a strange rumor about a new shinobi on the rebel side. A man who calls himself a god. That is why I gave the title Tenshi to Naruto. It's true, this boy isn't a shinobi yet you took him as your apprentice. Then that means a Megacure will fall soon. Most likely in a couple of years, maybe 5. We have time. I believe Naruto will avenge a Megacure when the village falls. We can only hope this will be the case. Naruto walk and walk, he was used to this. Hanzo trained him to handle situations like this. So he had nothing to worry about. He was deep in Konoha's borders, so he had very little to worry about. Naruto smiled. He was going home. He had changed much during these 6 years. He wondered if anyone would remember him. Then again, nobody loved him. So he wouldn't worry that much. He walked onwards. He could see the gate and knew Konoha Anbu was nearby, but he had no real concern about them. He walked forward. Naruto was dressed in a dark naval blue outfit. When he reached the gate, he noticed the gate guarded by 2 Chunin guards. Halt! State your name and your business in Konoha, the guards shouted. Naruto reached in his weapon pouch and pulled out a scroll that had a training stamp signed by the Hokage. The Hokage is expecting me, Naruto stated calmly. The guards looked at each other and nodded. An Anbu squad will escort you to the Hokage tower. They replied as a puff of smoke appeared and an Anbu team appeared. Let's go. Naruto walked with the Anbu and they walked straight into the street. Many people look at him but paid very little attention to Naruto, so little has changed. Although he had seen a few new shops he knew open since he has left. When they reach the Hokage tower, Naruto enters and realizes not much has changed. The Sandaime Hokage was still working on paperwork. Hey Oji-san, how are you? Naruto replied. Sarutobi looked at the young man in surprise. Minato, no it can't be. Naruto, how are you doing Jii-san? Naruto asked with his smile. Naruto? Sarutobi asked in utter surprise. It's only been 6 years. Hanzo did more than just take Naruto away, he also took Naruto as an apprentice. This makes Naruto much more dangerous than he appears. The Anbu here clearly are underestimating him. You're back. I thought that Hanzo would have taken you away forever. Now then, I've arranged it so you can attend the academy for 2 years. That means you will graduate at the age of 12. Naruto, I know it may seem boring but please understand our customs. The Sandaime pleaded with Naruto's look of utter disbelief. But I've already done B-rank missions, even A-rank missions. Hell, I've completed 7 S-class missions, Naruto complained. The third raised his eyebrow. What was Hanzo thinking? Naruto, my decision won't change. Please understand, you have to start from scratch here. Naruto said nothing but glared dangerously at the Hokage. The Hokage could feel only intimidated by staring at the young man. Very well, I hate doing these low-ranking missions. Naruto muttered. He walked out the door and quickly disappeared. Hokage-sama. Who was that? The Anbu asked once the strange blonde disappeared. Uzumaki Naruto has returned. The Sandaime replied calmly, grabbing his pipe. Hokage-sama, was it wise to let that? I know what you mean, but have faith in the Yondaime Hokage. He is the creator of the seal that holds the Kyuubi at bay. Do you think he would create the seal and order the boy to still live? No, if the Yondaime Hokage knew it was dangerous to let the child live, he would have ordered the Anbu to kill him immediately after the sealing. Instead, his orders were to look at the child as if he was the hero who saved the village. Think about that. The third replied, getting up and walking out the door. It was true. Many Anbu firsthand had seen what the terrible Kyuubi did to the village. It nearly brought the village to its knees by itself. However, to see a boy who wielded the Kyuubi and live confused them. Did the Yondaime Hokage know what he was doing? Many wanted to deny that, but then they would be denied every abilities of the Yondaime knew and did. They had a lot to think about. Next day Naruto walked into the Shinobi Academy and looked inside. He snorted what he saw. These children were shinobis in training. He even doubted any of them had the potential to even make it through their first mission. Naruto looked at the piece of paper and looked at it. Room 201, Amino Iruka's classroom. He walks up the stairs, ignoring the stares and whispers from everyone. Naruto walked in and looked around. Everyone looked at him and noticed that the teacher, a chunin with a scar on his cheek, was staring at him with his eyebrows twitching. Anyo, the Hokage informed me that I was assigned to this classroom. And you are, Uzumaki Naruto. Iruka frowned at the name. He knew who this was. However, he didn't say anything. Well, find yourself a seat, Naruto. Iruka eyed Naruto carefully as Naruto made his way towards the highest seats and sat down. Right, as I was saying, the Shodem and Nindem Hokage built Konoha after a bloody era of war and disuse. They had hope and dream. This is a shinobi class. This is pathetic. What kind of shinobis are these people? Naruto soon fell asleep and failed to notice that most people were looking at him. Naruto. Iruka shouted into the blonde's ear. Naruto jerked awake and glared at Iruka with a promise of pain. I do not like people sleeping in my classroom. Now, if you would be so kind to join us in the Shuriken test, please do. Naruto grumbled under his breath. Iruka led them to a tree where Naruto felt his eyebrow twitching. This is a Shuriken test. You have got to be kidding me. Why doesn't that old man of a Hokage get me out of this and give me a good A-rank mission? I had a lot of fun on A-rank missions. Now then, Naruto, since you were so kind to ignore me during my lecture, why don't you demonstrate towards us how to do the Shuriken test? Iruka replied calmly, motioned Naruto up to the front. Naruto grumbled as he walks up towards the front, clearly annoyed at the thought. You are only allowed to throw 8 shurikens, Iruka replied calmly. I don't have any. Naruto replied. What's the matter, Baka? Don't you have any money? A pink-haired girl shouted. Piss off, Banshee. I only use a special kind of kunai and my sword. Shurikens and your kunais are mere child's play to me. If you're ready to even fight me at my level, grow up. Naruto growled. Many of the students back away when Naruto turns to look at Sakura. Shikamaru noticed they were the eyes of someone who has seen battle and killed before. Sasuke also noticed the change in Naruto's eyes when he glared at Sakura. He was reminded of Itachi too much. Itachi held the same eyes during his time with Konoha's Anbu and when he destroyed the clan and performed the Tsukiyomi on him. How can he hold eyes like that? Sasuke thought with hate for the blonde. Those eyes reminded him so much of whom he wanted to kill. Here you use my own. Iruka replied, pulling 8 of his shurikens. Naruto took them in his right hand and raised them. He flicks them and a perfect line of shurikens hit the tree. He doesn't use shurikens yet he can use them perfectly. Incredible. Iruka motioned Naruto to step down. Naruto took to another tree and sat down sleeping. How can he sleep so much? I mean, Shikamaru is bad enough, but to getting another slacker too. Naruto had his eyes closed but he was listening to the other shinobi in training perform the shuriken test. He wanted to scream. None of them even came close. If they did this to an enemy standing still, then how would they hit an enemy moving? Naruto half thought of marching towards the Hokage and demand for harder training. Iruka called them back and was pleased to see their progress. Much to Iruka's teacher senses, Naruto fell asleep once more, not listening to a word Iruka was saying. 2 years later. All right everyone, settle down. Today is your genin exam and you will be tested on the Bunshin no Jutsu. Now, please come forward. Naruto could sense his classmates' chakra and nearly choke. After 2 years of their intense training they claimed to be strong. Naruto wanted to tear his hair out. Ever since the shuriken test, Naruto only slept, pass out, or miss school in general. Something Iruka did not like. He soon was the dead last in the class because of his so many non-actions he performed in the classroom. Iruka was puzzled by the blonde. On the first day, he made every student tremble fear, just by sending them a glare. Iruka himself felt uneasy. He had wondered if the Kyuubi was influencing, but the Hokage told Iruka Naruto has been spending 6 years in a megacure. He remembered yesterday's shocking news that reached his ears. Flashback. Yesterday 6 p.m. Yukanai-san, what you looking at? The new bingo book. You should look at this. You know about those mercenary ninjas? Yes. The Kumori nins. They're actually Hidakari nins. They accept only the best assassin jobs but have no hidden village. Well, you're not going to believe this, but they added someone to the bingo book. Both underground and to the shinobi villages. You're joking. Iruka shouted, jumping to his feet. I'm not joking. Look. Iruka grabbed the book and looked at it. There was no picture but there was a name that recently had pop up in the shinobi world. Isu Tenshi. The Ice Angel. Why would they put him in the bingo book? No idea. Apparently the Isu Tenshi killed someone of great importance to their cause and belief. Yukanai replied. Iruka has heard of Isu Tenshi. He first started to rise up nearly 4 years ago. He was a growing legend. No one has ever seen him but the rumors remain. He had over 100 kills and has never been defeated. He was a young shinobi prodigy who quickly learned the art of battle. He soon became enemies with the Hidakari nins and killed many of them. Isu Tenshi. Rank. S-class. Age. Unknown. Village. Most likely a megacure. Known to be staying in a megacure. Eye color. Blue. Hair color. Blonde. Techniques. Unknown. Isu Tenshi. Previously known as Tenshi, given the name Isu Tenshi by Kumori nins because of his brutal ways of killing and fighting. Has killed hundreds, if not thousands of shinobis. Among these shinobis are members from Kumori nins, Kusa nins, Ain nins, Iwa ninjas, Kumo nins and Taki nins. It states and remains, no one has ever stood a chance against this young mysterious shinobi. An offer of 500 ryu for his head. 5 million ryu for his head? He must have made powerful enemies. Now that I think about it, Isu Tenshi hasn't been seen or active for nearly 2 whole years. Around the time Naruto arrived in class 2, but that's impossible. Naruto can't be the Isu Tenshi. The name Isu was added to Tenshi after they replied his cold and brutal ways of killing people. Almost as if he had no emotions. He killed without question, without fear. People knew he could kill even some of the most advanced shinobi out there today. There was even a rumor if he could even fight one-on-one with Hitaki Kakashi. That's what worries me, if the Isu Tenshi does exist, who will stop him? They say those who sees his face never lives to tell the tale. That he can't be stopped and he cannot be defeated. Iruka threw the bingo book aside and leaned back, rubbing his temples. This amount of thinking gave him a headache. He leaned back and wondered why Isu Tenshi made him think so much. Flashback ends. Iruka watched Naruto perform all the basic with ease and a boring expression on his face. Iruka always had a suspicion that Naruto was far better than he let out. Very good, Naruto. Iruka replied as 3 Bushins disappeared in a puff of smoke. Here is your forehead protector. You are now a Konoha genin. Naruto said nothing but took his forehead protector and left. Iruka wondered what exactly ran through Naruto's head. He never tried to make friends or even play with the other kids. He would always disappear just when the bell rang. Later that night, Naruto was sitting on top of the Yondaime's head in deep thought. He was in his full shinobi gear. His clothes covered his legs and chest. A tight shirt, known for Anbu to wear, was also showing, just barely. The left arm had a long sleeve that also held a light glove in his left arm. Very similar to the masked Kane of WWF, WWE, how his top was connected to his left sleeve arm but cut off on his right shoulder. He had a removable sleeve on his right arm with black tape around his palm. A katana was strapped to his back and he looked out into the sleeping city. Konoha is my birthplace and my home, however, why do I feel I don't belong here? I feel I should be back in a megacure. However, it's true that I don't belong there. I merely went to a megacure so things would calm down here. Things have calmed down here, but I feel so alone. It's no like a megacure. While I'm sure Hanzo-sensei can defeat the rebels now without my help, I fear something is going to happen soon. Damn, I want to kill someone, my thirst for blood is at its peak. Naruto was snapped out of his thoughts as a commotion was being heard below him. Naruto jumped down and hid on top of the roof where the Sandaime Hokage and several Chunin and Junins were standing. Hokage-sama, this is a serious matter. The scroll of sealing isn't something we can take lightly. We need every shinobi in the village to find the traitor and get the scroll before it falls into another hidden village hands. Those jutsus are nearly every recording of Konoha's greatest jutsus. A Junin shouted with one eye. It's got to be that demon child. He could be doing this to destroy us, another Junin shouted. Naruto gripped his tenkan and was about to kill the man when the Sandaime Hokage spoke. I seriously doubt Naruto would even dare take the scroll of sealing. He doesn't even know where it's located or of its existence. So we can rule this out. However, whoever took the scroll must have known about it for a while, if not years. Alert the patrol and guard units to shut off the exits and keep a close eye around the forest. Go. Sir. They all shouted and disappeared in a puff of smoke. The third grabbed his hat and walked inside. Naruto turned and jumped down near the window of the Hokage's office. He opens the window and look around. Clearly the vault wasn't in here, so he ran around. He was surprised to see no guards or people inside. He moved to a door where it had tape marked by Anbu saying, off limits. Moving the tape out of the way, Naruto pushed the door open and walked inside. He looks inside and notices hundreds of scrolls. He then noticed near the wall, a scroll stand empty. He walked towards and placed his hands on the ground. No shunshin, no jutsu. So the corrupt must have left by foot. He clearly wasn't stupid enough to walk out that he came. And I'm willing to bet everything I have there is a silent alarm as soon as the door or window opens. This leaves the window. As soon as the door was open, he must have run and burst through the window. The only thing, the window remains clear as day, as if not moved. Naruto jumped on the wall and used his chakra to stick to it as he inspected the window. Shurikens from the outside. No wonder why. Whoever did this must have expected people to check the window situation. So he escaped by the window and took off in the forest. Naruto formed a ram seal and disappeared in a quick puff of smoke and reappeared on the other side. This was done poorly, but enough to slow down people. The trail, however, can easily be traced all the way to the forest. Naruto took off and ran to an unknown part of the forest. He stops as he soon came to a cabin. He jumps down looking around for anyone there. Naruto moved around cautiously and noticed the trail is much heavier instead of being light. This area is much easier to trace. A pickup area. That means someone in our village is working for someone. The question is who? Damn, looks like I might not be able to kill tonight. Naruto walked forward to look for more clues when someone walked forward, causing him to take a stance. About time. It won't be long before Konoha discovers this place. The person stopped when he notices Naruto standing in front of him. Oh, Naruto. What the hell are you doing to here? And how did you find this place? Mizuki shouted. I should be asking you, Mizuki-sensei. Who are you working for? Why did they steal the scroll of sealing? And why did you betray Konoha? Naruto asked seriously. Mizuki wanted to pound the little demon brat to his death, but stopped when he noticed the blonde's eyes. They were unlike anything he has ever seen. His eyes were emotionless and without anything sign of life. He was staring into pure ice. That promised a slow, quick death. What is with this kid? All of a sudden, he is making me tremble in fear. His eyes are also making me uneasy. Gathering his wits, Mizuki pulled out one of his Fuma shurikens from his back. You don't scare me. He threw the giant shuriken close enough to be at point-blank range and much faster than Mizuki could see. He grins, believing he killed the blonde. He completely turned to shock when Naruto gave a lazy backfist to the shuriken, sending it sailing in the trees. Mizuki back up and fell on his ass, unable to believe his eyes. Naruto walks forward and unless his katana. Today, for you crime you commit against Konoha, you will die. Naruto said in a cold tone. Mizuki panicked, and to Naruto's surprise, he fainted. Did he really pass out on me like that? He is so easily able to take life, yet is not afraid to give up his own? Naruto turned to the scroll of sealing which stood next to a tree and gave it a look. It seems maybe I can make up for not killing tonight. Naruto opened the scroll and noticed the first technique. An advance formed of the Bunshin no Jutsu. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Shadow clones. Today must be my lucky day. Around 30 minutes later, Naruto was sweating slightly and nearly collapsed as he stood up. He then senses someone was moving towards him. A moment later, Iruka jumped down and what he saw shocked him. Naruto, perhaps the laziest person in Konoha, was breathing heavily with the scroll of sealing safely on his back. Next to him, tied down and gagged, was Mizuki. Hey Iruka-sensei. Naruto replied in an even manner. Naruto, don't tell me. I defeated the traitor and got the scroll of sealing back. Naruto replied. Naruto, you truly are interesting. Iruka picked up Mizuki and led Naruto to the Hokage. Hokage Tower. You mean we have no signs of the traitor? That he just disappeared? What about the Anbu? Have they come up with nothing? I check on the demon child's apartment. He wasn't home. I knew he had something to do with this. Enough. Naruto overheard our conversation and managed to track down the traitor. He has brought back the scroll of sealing and the traitor. All is well. Right now, I'll have the Anbu torture and interrogation section find out the meaning behind the traitor's rash decision to steal the scroll of sealing. Everyone was silent and couldn't believe their ears. This matter is closed. The Sandame replied as walked back inside. Hanzo, what on earth did you do to make Naruto so strong? We are the protectors of Kyoto, the Shinsengumi. Naruto slowly turns his head and glares at the three-man formation heading towards him. He easily deflects the first man's sword swing with his own sword. He cut down the second as he raised his sword before stabbing the third in the stomach, returning to the second and swinging his sword. Naruto moved so fast, the three Shinsengumi faces clearly showed they didn't even realize they were dead. Naruto ran up ahead, cutting down the Shinsengumi in his path. Naruto stood over the dead bodies without so much of an expression on his face. Naruto looked at the moon for a bit, before he shunshin out of there to the tree when he stops and looks back at all the corpse. More Shinsengumi were appearing. Now Naruto's curiosity was truly beginning to peak. This area didn't have too many Shinsengumi, not according to the reports. Two people walked through and Naruto immediately grew worried. At his current level, he could not face two captains on his own. Even his bones have been broken, the young captain replied. Was it a Jigen user? Another asked. No, look at the sword attacks carefully. They are not of a swordsman or a mercenary but a shinobi. Another captain replied. He had 4 short bangs hanging down his face with a wolf-like face. A shinobi kenjutsu. But shinobis don't dwell around here. Only idiots would dare try to attack one of our strongholds. These units were strong enough to hold off 100 chunins, even several junins. Yet who could possibly take these men out? Someone with amazing skills and unbelievable talent. Naruto. Iruka yelled into the blonde's ear. What is it, Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked his teacher. I just told you, you are now a part of Team 7. Go sit with you teammates, Iruka demanded. Anyo, who are my teammates, Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked respectfully. Haruno Sakura and Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto grumbled under his breath about useless partners and sat down between them. Iruka struggled and walked back to the front to continue his lecture. A dream. A dream of the past. I have never dreamt of the past. So why now? Why are my dreams starting to haunt me now? Naruto soon started to dream more and more of his past. Even since the Mizuki thief incident, Naruto first started to experience the pleasant of dreams. At first, it was of his training, then they grew to the 4th grade shinobi war in Kyoto. The dreams soon started to get worse and worse. Why am I dreaming about the past so much? That Uzumaki boy, he seems trouble. I've been trying to get him to open up but he keeps refusing. He also seems far more powerful than he lets out. Mizuki is still scared witless. Even Ibiki can't even get him to talk. He keeps saying, the devil is here. The devil is amongst us. What he means I can only refer to as something to with Naruto. I would have asked the Anbu to integrate Naruto, but I seriously doubt they would get any answers. Kakashi, what I worry about, is his mental capabilities. Ever since the Mizuki incident, the Anbu overwatching him have reported he is constantly have nightmares. Because of that, Kakashi, he will be under your care. So I have to be careful of him, please do. I have my suspicion, but I believe Sanshuo no Hanzo trained Naruto for nearly 6 years. I believe he is the Isu Tenshi. Isu Tenshi? Are you serious? The Junins cried. The Isu Tenshi is a lively prodigy. Some even say he is the Yondaime Hokage reborn. Which makes me think it's Naruto. Hanzo's training would have made Naruto strong enough to fight in the 4th Great Shinobi War. The 3rd Great Shinobi War. Hokage-sama, that war ended 15 years ago. The treaty with Iwa gave us a huge advantage over them. A random Junin shouted. That is true, between Iwa and Konoha the war ended 15 years ago. However, the war continued on in a large city near the northern border of Fire Country. Although it's not a part of Fire Country, it's a city known Kyoto, the capital city. Every shinobi comes there to increase their village profits. When Iwa and Konoha ended their war with the treaty, they pulled out because the conflict didn't end in Kyoto. That era was known as Bakumatsu. Kyoto was the only city still raging the 4th Great Shinobi War. If Naruto was there, then he is a field master of war. I heard Kyoto was a place where only the strongest could have survived. Kakashi answered. That's right. The fighting in Kyoto got more chaotic after Iwa and Konoha made a treaty and pulled out. Kyoto's chaos, however, did not die. If Naruto was truly there, then it would explain his hard expression all the time. He needs to learn what it means to be a Konoha shinobi, the Sandaime Hokage said. Naruto stared into space and waited for Iruka to finish. Naruto's attention then snapped as he sensed the Junins appearing from the doorway waiting to be called in. Your Junin senseis should be here. Wait for them to call you so you can begin your exciting life as a shinobi, Iruka replied. Junins kept walking in and out calling for their teams. Soon, only Team 7 remained behind. Naruto was sitting down ignoring the pink hair ranting her head off about their sensei being late. Sasuke was slouching in the corner staying away from his teammates. Naruto was curious to know who could be so late, wondering what kind of Junin this person who could be so irrepressible. Sakura was still ranting, much louder than she was 2 hours ago. Does this girl have an off button? Sasuke was getting irritated by the minute despite how cool he tried to look. Describing their thoughts was the door opening and a masked Junin walking through. Sorry I'm late, you see I got lost on the road to life. What kind of an excuse is that, sensei? Sakura shrieked. Sasuke narrowed his eyes looking at the man, wondering if he was really a Junin. This shinobi is Hitaki Kakashi. He is our sensei. What is a legendary ninja like him doing training, kids? Meet me on the roof in 10 minutes. Kakashi replied calmly. Before the kid's eyes he disappeared. Kage Bunshin. No. Shunshin no jutsu. He is able to use that level of a jutsu without any hand seals. He is good. Naruto jumped out the window before using his chakra to launch himself to the roof. Already here, sensei? Naruto replied looking at Kakashi. You got here quick. No doubt you use your chakra to jump up here. Just to be expected from the famous Hitaki Kakashi, Naruto replied as he sat down. He's heard of me. So, the Hokage's concerns aren't illusions. 10 minutes later Sakura and Sasuke both appeared on the roof. They were surprised to see Naruto already there. Hey Baka, how did you get here so fast? Sakura demanded. Naruto said nothing but continued to stare off into space. Okay, sit down so we can begin. Kakashi eyed the two genins before they sat down. Okay, now that we are here, tell me your likes, dislikes, your hobbies and dreams for the future. Kakashi replied. Sensei, why don't you go first since we don't know how to do it? After all, you are supposed to lead by example. Sakura replied after no one had spoken. Very well, I'm Hitaki Kakashi. My likes and dislikes, I have many hobbies. As for dreams for the future, I never really thought of it. I'm Haruno Sakura. I like, my hobbies are, my dreams are, my dislikes are Naruto no Baka and Ino Pig. Why is it girls are more interested in love than training? Uzumaki Naruto. I have nothing I like. I dislike shinobis who don't follow the code and betray the code. I have no hobbies and no dreams. Naruto replied in a monotone. Talk about a scary shinobi to be. However, I can tell he's through many life and death experience. I'm Uchiha Sasuke. There are few things I like and even more that I dislike. I wouldn't call it a dream but an ambition to resurrect my clan, and to kill a certain man. Great an avenger. Sakura however thought Sasuke was so cool. Alright, now that we know each other, we are going to do something special together. What are we doing, sensei? Sakura asked excitedly. Survival training. Kakashi lazily answered. Survival training, Sakura screamed. Do you ever shut up? Naruto asked in annoyance. Shut up, Baka. We already know everything there is to know about survival training, Sakura screamed. Kakashi sweat drops at the loud voice the pink-haired genin. He was unable to see how Rin and Sakura could possibly be the same. This isn't normal survival training, Kakashi answered in a serious voice. That makes sense. Naruto replied calmly. Everyone turned to look at him. The academy test was only to see if we could perform jutsus. A little too easy for a shinobi graduation. I take it this survival training is a field test. If we are successful we become genin. If we fail we die. Naruto replied calmly. Sasuke's eyes widened and Sakura looked plainly as if she shit herself. Kakashi narrowed his eyes at Naruto. You can't be serious, I mean that's barbaric, Sakura cried. It's the way of the shinobi. We shinobis enter life and death situations every day. If we cannot survive this test we cannot defeat our enemies without going through a life and death experience. Naruto answered calmly but with a voice that left for no room for argument. Sakura looked terrified. Like she wanted to do anything else than enter a life and death situation. Kakashi would have corrected Naruto about the test only he felt he needed the two other genins to fully understand what would have happened in a life and death survival battlefield. So Kakashi didn't say anything to correct the blonde. Meet me tomorrow at Training Ground 14 at 7 o'clock in the morning. See ya. Kakashi replied, disappearing in a puff of smoke. Naruto got up and walked away, leaving Sakura to chase after her Sasuke-kun. Training Grounds 14 to 7 a.m. Naruto stood in full combat suit, a sword on his back and two kunai straps on his legs. Soon Sasuke arrived with a brooding expression, then Sakura showed up looking like she just woke up. 2 hours later Kakashi finally arrived and gave a small wave greeting them with a small, hello. Sakura screamed her head off, complaining about how late he was and how she couldn't properly get ready. Kakashi jumped down and looked at them. Naruto was the only one who looked fully ready to unleash hell on Kakashi. Sasuke looked bored and Sakura was staring at Sasuke. Okay, now is time for the test, Kakashi stated as he held up two bells. Everyone look at him. Sakura however looked like she was going to be sick. Sensei, do we have to make this a life and death battle? Sakura asked hopefully. Baka. We are shinobis. We will be putting our lives on the line every mission we take. This test is to see if we can survive enemy shinobis and if we are willing to die. Those who don't and abandon their comrades are trash, Naruto replied calmly. Sakura paled. She knew what trash meant among shinobi. It was more than enough to execute a fellow shinobi for treason. Anyone shinobi who was trash would be killed without honor. She did not like this at all. If she ran away from the test, she would die. If she accepted, she would still die. She knew there was no way she could defeat a Junin. Kakashi narrowed his eyes at Naruto. Again he felt he needed to correct the blonde but decided against seeing how this made both Sasuke and Sakura pale. Sakura mostly. If he played his cards right, Sakura would take being a shinobi more seriously. Sasuke would be more a team player. The only question was how to break Naruto from the shinobi regulations. He decided to do it at the end of the test, hoping to make the boys see there was more to being a shinobi than simply following orders. You have till noon to get the bells from me. You must come at me with intention to kill. Anyone who doesn't get a bell will be trash, Kakashi replied lazily. Kakashi looked at all three of them. Only Naruto didn't show any expression. Sakura paled and Sasuke looked a little intimidated. Alright, go, Kakashi replied. The three ninjas vanish. Kakashi stood spotted. One of the basics for a shinobi is to conceal your presence completely. Good, I can sense them but they've hidden themselves quite well. I can barely sense Naruto, but his location is difficult to locate. He is going to be the toughest out of the bunch. Sakura was laying on the ground, trying hard to suppress her stomach from growling. Sakura. A voice behind her replied. Sakura jumped up and screamed, running into the clearing, straight into Kakashi. I take it you're ready to put your life on the line? Kakashi asked Sakura when she stopped and looked at her sensei. Sakura screamed before she fainted. Kakashi's sweat dropped thinking he may have overdone it. She was so terrified she couldn't even think straight. Naruto, meanwhile, only said one thing. Trash. He originally planned to use Sakura as a decoy so he could complete the objective. However, he decided to check on Sasuke and see if he would be willing to help him out. Sasuke, however, threw shuriukens towards Kakashi's, seeing how Kakashi left down his guard. Naruto, however, narrowed his eyes when he notices a strange blur met his eyes. Kawarimi no Jutsu. Sasuke felt humiliated when he notices Kakashi disappear in a puff of smoke. Landing on the ground was a log with his weapons attached. Sasuke leaped through the trees trying to find a new hiding spot. However, Kakashi was leaning on a branch not too far from him. You really need to learn to read underneath the underneath. Never assume your enemy is simply keeping his guard down. If you do that, you'll die, Kakashi replied. Sasuke reached for his weapon pouch slowly while keeping his on Kakashi. Kakashi watched him in amusement. Quick as anyone could blink, Sasuke launched a hellstorm of kunais and shurikens at Kakashi, who jumped out the way. The shurikens flew past them and Kakashi landed on the ground below. Kakashi brought his right hand up to catch Sasuke's punch. Sasuke brought his left foot up, trying to kick Kakashi in the temple. Kakashi brought his elbow up and successfully blocked it. Sasuke didn't stop there, he sent his right again trying to kick Kakashi. Kakashi, seeing this coming, Kakashi successfully blocked the attack with his left elbow. Sasuke smirked and reached for the bells. Kakashi, realizing the plan, shoved Sasuke away. What a guy, I didn't get a chance to read Icha Paradise. Sasuke shouted out his seals as he started to form them. Snake, ram, monkey, boar, horse, tiger, Kaden, Gukakyu no Jutsu, Sasuke cried as he took a deep breath. Impossible, a genin should not have enough chakra. Sasuke released a huge fireball straight towards Kakashi. When the fireball died down, Sasuke looked everyone for Kakashi, wondering where he disappeared to. Below Doden, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, Kakashi shouted as he pulls Sasuke underground. You really need to learn how to read people and not shout out your techniques so carelessly, Kakashi replied calmly as he pokes Sasuke's head calmly. Kakashi walks away, pulling out his orange book. Get back here, we aren't done yet, Sasuke yelled. Kakashi merely waved his hand without looking back. Kakashi only walked a short way before he stops. Standing in the trees was Naruto. So you've come out. I can't seem to understand the purpose of this test, Kakashi-sensei. You must learn to see underneath the underneath. You may think like a shinobi from the book, however, you must learn to see trust in your teammates and friends and adjust to the situation to make sure lives are lost, Kakashi stated. I will become a shinobi, Naruto stated. Why? Naruto opened his mouth to say something but stopped. He was asking himself why he wanted to become a shinobi. He doesn't even know why he became a shinobi. Maybe he isn't going to be so hard to get through like I thought. However, if he was anything like me when I was a fool, he will have a hard head about this. Because I can be nothing else, Naruto stated calmly. Kakashi would have smiled, he saw through that lie. Naruto did not know why he became a shinobi. I became a shinobi to protect my friends and family, to make sure they never will be killed or hurt. Protecting people is my shinobi way, Kakashi stated. He then added, what's your shinobi way? Naruto paused before he unsheathes his sword. I will become a shinobi, Naruto declared. Kakashi pulled out a kunai to replace his orange book. Kakashi glared at Naruto, knowing this would be one of his toughest fights he's ever been in. Kakashi opened his eyes when he realizes Naruto disappeared. Kakashi leaped to his left as Naruto appeared on his right side, swinging his sword to cut through his torso. Kakashi brought his kunai only to see it cut in half. What a guy! He's sort of his cut through my kunai as if it was butter. His speed is also something. It's close to my top speed. I got to reinforce my speed if I want to stand a chance at all against him. Also, his attacks aren't wasted, they're flawless. Something only gained not through training but first-hand experience of fighting. If I use my Sharingan, I would only make myself more vulnerable by exhausted myself. I better be careful and not let my guard down for a second. Naruto raised his sword till he had it pointing diagonally up. Naruto rushed forward, swinging downward. Kakashi just to the side, only for Naruto to bring his sword up, nearly cut off Kakashi's left arm. Naruto continued to swing his sword at Kakashi's vital spots, also careful not to give Kakashi an opening. Kakashi disappeared in a puff of smoke after a few minutes of exchanges. Naruto, seeing this, slammed his sword into the ground and jumped into the air. He quickly formed a few seals before he calmly said, Futon. Kei's no Atsuryoku. Naruto took a deep breath before launching a jet stream of air out of his mouth into the sword. The earth shook and started to shake uncontrollably. The land started to crack open as Kakashi was seen hiding just inches from Naruto's sword. His eyes opened wide with pure shock. What a technique! The ability to create such an earthquake without using a Doden Jutsu but with a Futon Jutsu. No doubt all of Konoha felt that. Hard to believe he did all that. He is much harder than I thought. Thankfully, time is up. Naruto landed just as the bell rang, signaling the end of the exam. Naruto just looked in the trees before grabbing his sword. Sakura woke up and immediately started looking around. She decided to found Sasuke-kun before Kakashi decided to fight him. She had found Sasuke's head sticking out of the ground. Sakura. Sakura screamed, unable to believe his head was talking from the ground. Sakura passed out yet again. Sakura woke up to see Sasuke standing over her. Sasuke-kun, you're alright. Sakura yelled with joy. Good, you're alright. Now I got to get a bell before time runs out. Sasuke replied as he turns around, entering the trees. Wait, Sasuke-kun. Why won't you let me help? If we get the bells, then Naruto is good as gone to us. Because I need to become stronger. Sasuke stopped speaking and Sakura felt the earth shake very dangerously. Sasuke and Sakura both lost their balance and fell down. Just as soon as it came, it stopped. Sasuke and Sakura stood up for a bell to ring, ending the exam. When Sasuke and Sakura returned to the stumps, they found Naruto tied to the stumps. Why am I tied to the stumps, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked calmly. Because you're trash. Kakashi stated calmly. Before Naruto could say anything in his defense, Kakashi spoke again. You scared the hell out of Sakura, which would have given away both of your positions. Then with my battle with Sasuke, there was more than one opportunity to help him and you too would have gotten the bells. Instead you stood by and watch. This not only endangers your teammate. It would have endangered the threat of a mission if it was a real one. Sasuke and Sakura will not feed you. I'll inform the Hokage of your failure. Kakashi replies as he disappears in a puff of smoke. Naruto looked down in shame. Sasuke and Sakura were holding their lunches. Kakashi left behind and sat down next to Naruto. They kept giving him glances as if he was going to say something. Sakura, a small part of her regretted that he was going to be executed. She was suddenly afraid that Ino and the other students. She wanted to know what their fates were. If she knew this was the life of a shinobi, she wouldn't have joined the academy. Sasuke was confused. Naruto was going to be executed for failure and endangering his teammates. If Sasuke had to choose, he would rather have the last moments of his life a little relaxing and something to remember by. Naruto, here. Sasuke replied, holding his fish towards. You shouldn't help me in any way. Even feed me. You'll be executed as well. Naruto replied calmly. Don't be so stubborn. Just take it. Sasuke demanded. No, I failed. The least I can do for my failure is make sure you two won't be executed. Naruto replied. Sakura watched the conversation before she handed over her rice. Naruto looked at her with a questionable look. If I was to die, I want something happy to think about before I do. Make my last moments worth remembering. Sakura replied without looking. Don't worry about Kakashi, he isn't around. I don't sense his presence anywhere. Sasuke replied calmly. Naruto didn't know what to say. He bowed his head and said words he has never said before. Thank you. What the hell is this? Kakashi boomed as he appeared in a puff of smoke. Kakashi looked very angry, something that Sasuke and Sakura felt uneasy about. You broke the rules. You know the punishment. Kakashi replied in a deadly tone. But sensei. You said we were a team. Therefore we must help each other like a team. Sakura cried out. That's right. Sasuke agreed, nodding his head, getting into a defensive position. Oh really, in that case as a team you, all pass. Kakashi replied with his famous eye smile. Huh? Was the only response he received. The purpose of the bell test was to see who could work together. Because that's Konoha's strength. Teamwork. While many hidden villages execute their students who fail their test, Konoha doesn't. In fact, we either send them back to the academy or kick them out of the shinobi program. The two of you did something against the rules to help your teammate. That's an important flaw in Konoha. Look behind me at the memorial stone. Kakashi stated, turning his head towards it. The three genins looked at it. This stone is here for the fallen shinobis who died in battle. A wise and powerful shinobi once said, those who break the rules are trash. However, those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. While follow missions and shinobi's rules are important, so is protecting and helping your teammates. Well, that's all for today. Everyone get some rest. Tomorrow, Team Kakashi is official. Kakashi stated with his eye smile again. The end. Thanks for watching. Also remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.